Zoom. See?
Okay.
That.
But we're only seeing our necks.
All right, so some adjustment. That's better. I'm setting again for 3.
Want to go for the roll?
They're soon cooler. Oh, hi everyone. um, welcome to another conversation with the.
Please.
Yes. It's kind of humid, so and the fan is on still, but I was just adjusting the camera so we can be seen better. I hope we are being seen better. Anyway, happy Sunday to everyone. Hope you guys had a wonderful day. We did. Went to
Yes.
church as usual, and thanks be to God, we had a good dinner and everything, giving thanks. Yes. Remember now, as you come on the vid, who's first here at work? At class, in our work. Rowan.
Welcome, God.
Blessings, Rowan. Good to have you here. Yes, as you come on, just as Rowan did, you like the live and you indicate who you are and where you're from, and we'll give you a shout out. Yes, we'll give you a shout out. Of course, if I'm going to give everybody an assignment, we are thankful. Yeah, happy Sunday to everyone. We are thankful that we have persons who are watching the videos and who are liking the videos. We want to increase that. Yes, wherein more persons are liking and more persons are watching. Now, everybody who watches this video, I'm going to try and make it as who's on again? Sanita Freighter. Blessings, blessings. Right? We want to ask everybody who watched this video, and we're going to ask you to send it to at least 2 more persons. Somebody who you know is not has not yet subscribed or wasn't heard about us. We want you to send it to at least 2 more persons.
Who you might think may not.
Right. Help us to get to 1,000 subscriptions. We need it. You understand me? That way we can reach a whole lot more people. That way a lot more persons can hear about us and the material that we give off or we put out, persons can be encouraged by it because that is why we're here. And as you say, if you're coming on, Linus, hi.
Linus. Happy Sunday.
Good to see your wife. Well, we can't see you, but good to have you here. Yes, as you come on, like the live, as we say, and just indicate where you're from. We know Linus is from the USA. Santina Freighter, are you from Jamaica or outside of Jamaica? You can tell us. You know, Rowan is living in the USA also. All right. So right now, I don't think we had this topic by itself, and but we're having it tonight by itself. Because you know we saw something and we just wanted to throw it out there. And of course, the topic is about if age is really just a number, right? Because we saw something and a bulletin and we wanted to share it with everybody and just basically get your opinion. Now, let me say from the get go, I think age is a number. However, I think it has a limit. Yeah. I think it has a limit, but I believe age is a number. Linus, I'm from Jamaica, but living in the UK. Oh. Imagine that. So we here think you live in America. Wrong. It's never right to assume. We sincerely apologize. We sincerely apologize. So Linus is from the UK. Is living in the UK, but she's from Jamaica. Just another sister from living in another country. Yes.
Just across the water.
Right. No man, England is far from you.
I'm trying to get it seem nearer. I just kill it so.
One heap of Bibles, but that's what they say. But guys, I'm gonna read something, and this is no assertion on any particular church or person. It's just a clip that we found that basically we're using to spark the conversation.
Relate to the topic.
And it relates, yeah, to spark the conversation. And as I said, me personally, I believe age is a number. I don't know what you
I
say.
think age is a number, but when it comes to settling down with somebody, we should use wisdom.
So
Leave
you
it at
you
that.
leave
We'll
it
get into
at
it.
all right. And I mean, and those on the live, you can tell us if you think age is just a number. But while you think about it, or while you're typing, let me read this thing that we got. All right. So this says this. So this is the latest trending issue on social media sites. 63-year-old pastor has married, won't call her name, has married the teenage daughter of one of his ministers right after her 18th birthday. Let's see what Lina says. I agree with you, Mr. Lee. Age is just a number, but there are exceptions.
Exactly.
There are exceptions. Yes. Let me continue reading. So that was Lioness. Lioness says she agrees with me. Good. Um, After her 18th birthday, um, her mother didn't show up at the wedding. The pastor said he waited on her for 4 years.
And the 18-year-old.
He waited on the 18-year-old that he married for 4 years. Ron says, no, I didn't agree with that one. Too young. What other brother? Take your time.
We're blood now. We're blood. We're blood.
Take your time. Let me finish what the statement. The pastor said he waited on her for 4 years while counseling her now divorced parents. Thoughts. So we're gonna ask to share your thoughts. Do you think love is just love? As in age is a number and love is just love. So and I soon come to your comments. Okay, Ron will show. So Lioness says age is just a number, but no sir. Past and teenager, that does sound good. Ron said that passes a child molester. Passes as a guys, calm down.
We're coming. Let's not express ourselves. We're coming up here.
All right. So the scenario is, well, it's not just a scenario. It sounds like fact. I hope it is. I hope it is not fact. But it sounds like fact.
That is a fact.
That so the pastor, he's 63 years old, and he has a minister, and the minister and his wife were going through a divorce.
Yeah.
And he, the pastor, I gather, was counseling the entire family, which includes, at the time, the 14-year-old. He's now saying she's 18 now, and he has married her.
He waited on her for
He waited for 4 years. Now, honestly, I hear this story, and I believe that it's a number, but this one take the cake for me. Honestly. Let's see what Rowan has to say. This message is helpful review. All right, so guys, listen up. Um, when you make your comments, ensure that they are proper for viewing, because whatever comments are said or whatever things are said,
yeah,
YouTube is going to screen it, and if it doesn't fit in line with what
they will block off the comment.
In what we are supposed to be saying and showing, they will not allow the comment to come through. All right.
So let us just fix it up a little for airplay.
All right. So let me see. All right. Uh, so Lana says again, he should have waited 40 years then. If him still alive, Mario.
Basically, how I look at it, age I believe that age is just a number to a limit. You understand? But for instance, now with this story that we saw on social media, with the 63-year-old and the 18-year-old young lady, and plus it's a minister that have been divorced, and
Hold on. You're bringing out fresh information because we learned afterwards that that he has been that he himself this is really his third
third, this
marriage.
would have been his third
The
marriage,
pastor now,
the past.
so it gets deeper.
Yeah, that's all I heard. But at the end of the day, when I look at it, an 18-year-old to a 63-year-old, you have to look towards the future. And the first thing that came to my mind when I came across and heard the story is, like Lioness said, it comes across as if it's some sort of a what would you say now? I don't want to class anyone.
It's
It's
just absurd.
it's observe because I don't
Absurd.
observe. I don't want to. I don't want to say it. I'm not going to say it. It's observe because at the end of the day, that means that watching a child from 14 years old, that's a child. It doesn't matter if it just proved to me that you have what waited just 4 years for it to be okay with the law of the land that you can go in and marry this child, but she's still a child.
One
At
of
the end of the day, so it come up as pedophile in a way. You
it
understand, not to class
no.
anyone.
But at 18, it is legal.
But
The thing.
however,
Mhm.
right or correct, at 18 it is
Mhm. So you
legal.
can cuss
But if
him
you're
for that.
observing from 4 years, it simply means that there are thoughts that took place in the mind for you to know that you want to marry this child. You wanted to marry this child in your mind. It came to you at 14 years old. You just pause
Your
the
intention.
action, your intention, until it reached 4 years later. But
Mhm.
in your mind, you were already having certain thoughts of which you want to see a female to become your wife. But this was actually a child. So in my mind, what's the difference? What's the difference does a 4 year really make only to the law of the land? Because while she was 14-year old, you have already lived your life, experienced mass multitude of things. You're a divorcee. This child have not yet even begun to live.
Mhm.
You
No,
understand?
but then at his age, there's a lot of experience to help her to grow and to guide her along the journey of life, and then probably have the wherewithal to take care of her too.
Yes, as a father, but not as a husband. I think it is observed. I can't say it.
Absurd.
Absurd
Mhm.
because at the end of the day, right? This child could very well, in my opinion, maybe brainwashed to believe that she's in love. You understand? Because
Mhm.
some people sometimes mistake what would you say now, looking up to someone for love or
Mhm.
admiring someone. It could very well be that okay, my parents were having difficulties in their marriage, and this person who's supposed to be a man of God stepped in and helped the situation, whether
Mhm.
for the marriage to be separate or whether to come back together.
Mhm.
And I myself, I'm putting myself in the child's place. I myself know, this took a toll on me with my parents, and I have to talk to somebody, and I turn to my minister,
Mhm.
14 years old. And while I'm there, what we can only speculate about what really maybe happened while this counseling, you understand what happening? What
We hope nothing physical happened. You know.
I am not going to accuse him, but as a human being and with the information that is given, you tend to think what could have transpired between the time counseling
For love to
for
develop.
love to come into play.
Mhm.
Are you gonna adapt and foster this young lady? That's not a husband and wife situation. That's more like a father figure. But it's not. You literally marry this individual 4 years later. So during that counseling, what could you have, you understand, come across or what to say, I want her to be my
All
wife?
right. For those who
She
are
have no experience, nothing.
So for those who are joining now, we're ahead of the time in terms of you coming in. We're having a discussion. A
Age.
60-year-old man who has decided to marry, who has married an 18-year-old young lady who, at the time her parents were going through a divorce, and she was just 14 years old because he waited until she was 18 before he could marry her.
Yeah.
So we're just having a discussion here. All right, so let's look. So Ruan says, and well, Ruan has his view. He's saying, boy, not in this case. Um, not in this case. He's saying to me, not this case. He was in. Ruan is saying that he probably was molesting her with his eyes all the years.
I don't know,
um,
but it leads you to
he
one.
says and he thinks that the pastor was basically completely wrong, and further penalty should be meted out to him. When I paraphrase it, you will know that. Lionel says there's a lot of things that are legal, but it does not make it moral.
Moral.
All
That's
right,
the thing.
all
That's
right,
the thing. The
Lioness.
moral of the situation.
Point taken, but watch this now, Lioness. A friend of mine, a friend of ours, made this mention that in the Eastern world, this would not be immoral or seen as immoral,
It will
because
not
in
be
the
sin.
Eastern world, children at small age, are betrothed, or that word there, you just say no, is
Pursue.
not, no, not pursued, but children at some age, they're already slated to marry somebody
Uh,
even before them reach the age of marriage. It's as if it is already proposed that this person is going to marry this person, and they have to just wait until the age of consent.
but that
In the
what?
Eastern
Yeah, but
world,
all right.
even
Say
now,
even so. But what is the motive though? This is a minister. That's what I'm saying. This is a minister, and in spite of the fact that say the Bible
no, I'm
didn't
not
say
talking the Bible. I'm talking about
in the Eastern,
even
but that
now.
doesn't really make it right either. Does that really
No,
make
but
it?
I'm
That
just
is
saying.
culture, but culture doesn't always have to be the right.
Yeah, but what I'm saying,
So
morality is also subject
subject
to
to
to what, the thinking and the law of the land. And
it
if
still
and if
doesn't.
the Eastern world, it is legal, what do we say then? To, I guess, because it's
We're
no,
not in the
we're not in
Eastern
the
world.
Eastern, so it may
We're
not be
not. And as
morally
a man
accepted.
a man of the gospel then,
Mm.
right? In today's world, you understand with people's motives. You have to think on the motive. What's the motive of the situation to want to marry an 18-year-old and waited on her for 4 years, meaning that she was 40. You
Mhm.
understand? So what was the motive? You understand? We really have to think of the motive of these things. Why?
Ruan said, Ruan said he's sick. All right, Lionel, sir, more like grandfather figure.
That's the point. All right. As with the clip saying that the
Yeah.
mother did not turn up to the wedding. All
So
right. With an
we want,
individual who
hold
I
on,
not
Michelle, hold on, Michelle. We want to dissect certain points. So I let Michelle touch on that point regarding the mother not coming to the wedding.
with the mother not going to the wedding. As a mother myself with an 18-year-old, I can clearly understand, and as an individual who also is a Christian who attend church, I have a
Mhm.
minister and
And we
everything,
believe,
and we believe
yeah.
that you understand that children should get equal right and justice and live their childhood, live out their childhood, and
Mhm.
make their own choice. With that belief, no, there's no way. It doesn't matter how much I maybe look up to my minister or respect my minister. If say that should happen in my case, I would lose respect for my minister because I'll be questioning his motive, especially if he's a divorcee, whether one time, much more, two times, or this is gonna be the third
Marriage for them.
marriage. You understand? And why I would lose respect also is because I have entrusted him with my family enough for him to counsel my family with us going through. You understand?
Mhm.
This trying situation. And to know that okay, you're waiting on my child from she was 14,
But I wonder, did she know that he was waiting?
but
I don't think so.
whether or
I
not
think I
she
think
knew,
I think over time, when he probably would have made his move now, should have recognized, oh, how long have you been interested in my daughter? Get him
whether
yourself.
or
And
not
that would probably really sick her, hence she
whether
not got
or
it.
not she knew or he just found
No
out
man, I'm
that
talking on the perspective where you're saying that
upon the
where
perspective of
she, I
what
think,
the clip said,
mm,
he waited for 4 years. Whether or not he waited for 4 years, she's 18.
no, making mention, you're saying that the mother might be saying why she have this issue with him. But when I say, how would the mother know that he was with you for 4 years? That's what I'm saying. The mother wouldn't necessarily know that until he
Even we are here
make him
talking
intention.
and we are here speculating. But the mother know enough that for him to want to marry her daughter, which is 18, as their minister who is privy to information and have been counseling
Mm-hmm.
her, that knowledge and the realness of the situation is enough for me being a mother of an 18-year-old child
Mm-hmm.
also to lose respect in the minister, to lose respect in the fact that he could have ulterior motive from when, even
Mm-hmm.
if there wasn't facts to show, because you can't just get up in space of a day and said, I want to marry someone.
Mm-hmm.
You must have been observing and you
Yeah,
understand?
man.
So just be turning 18, it means that things were happening in the minister mind before to come to
Mm-hmm.
that conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So to the fact that you want to marry my daughter, you must have approached me, you understand, and the family, and you must have known my sentiment on it. You
And
understand?
hence she decided not
And
to go
hence
to.
she decided not to go to, but I'm telling you, that as a mother, you have your children and your best hope for them, your dream for them is the best that life has to offer.
Mm-hmm.
Not just in good health, not just in wealth, but also in state of mind, in the sense that yes, today she's 18, yes, today he's 63. What about the next 10 years? When
Well,
he becomes 73 and now she becomes 20, and you know your needs, you understand, to certain
I
things.
mean, no man, she should become 73 in 20. When she had 20, was 65. That's
Or
18.
18, yes, yes, true. But nevertheless, you understand how long will he be able to please her, and she, how long will she
Why?
not before she become a caretaker?
Me not even go so far enough
But
because
you
I
have
think
to
no,
if
no,
you
no, no.
can't see the
No,
future.
I'm not wrong in what you're saying. I'm saying I am even before even that. I am just I stop at the fact that he was actually observing her for 4 years.
But as a mother,
That
I'm
is me. I say,
speaking from
oh,
the
that.
point of a mother because a mother, a mother tend to think when they think about their children, they think about now and the future, and even after they have passed. You understand what type of life will their child have?
Mm.
You understand? And no mother want to know that. You understand? Even after they have passed, they have to be like they're worrying about the future for their child. What kind of life are you going to have? Because you're going to become a nurse, to nurse someone who should be your husband, who is supporting you, working
Well,
along beside his husband. So that alone within itself,
mm,
you understand? But as you're saying, which is right, the mere fact that okay, you have been observing my child from she was 14, it comes off like a pedophile behavior. I don't know his motive. I'm just saying, as a human
it
being,
just
and
don't look
by
right. It don't
thinking
look right.
over
It
it,
don't look right.
you
Bottom
understand,
line,
it does, it seems weird. It,
it
it
don't look right
seems
because
for
it.
a minister that should have been the forest thing, maybe from your mind, or you should be looking at the situation and know that this child is not ready for this. You understand?
The bottom line is it don't look right, and one, two, it leaves for a whole heap of speculation. And I don't think that was a wise move from the pastor. That is one. Two, um, the fact that the mother didn't turn up for the wedding, she has not given her consent
Stamp or disapproval.
or agreed to the whole thing. Notwithstanding the child being at 18, she can make her own decision. You understand me? And the mother can't know about it. But it just leaves a whole heap of speculation for those even looking on. And at the same time, being a minister, especially representing Christ, it just threw off a whole heap of people, honestly. So let me just read some of the comments again. Linus says, um, what hope does a community have when grandfathers
Grandfathers,
are marrying girls young enough to be their granddaughters?
are they great?
That is true.
They're
That
great.
is true, right? Rowan says, I am 39 years old, and there is a young lady that like me. She is 19, and I think that's something wrong. What I see something wrong with that. I am too old. right? That you make you what 20 years or senior. Um, I don't know.
It's
I
up to
don't know.
you. I
That
think that the age
that not sound as bad as
it's
this
not
one.
as bad, but it's up to you as an
It's up to you as an
individual
individual.
because at least you will have some sort of a life
Hmm.
together for a good period
Yeah,
of
man. You
time.
still have time
You
for
still
grow.
have time to grow and to be of good use to each other equally without too much of a burden. You understand? And
Hmm.
one party. You understand? Because we have to take this into consideration. If is it that you want to nurse an elderly, well, you don't have to marry them. You don't have to marry them.
Yeah.
And while I don't even want to downplay anybody's life, but when it's like it just seems unreal when for people of good, healthy, conscious mind stepping into situations like this, knowingly that what the outcome may be
I
down the
think,
road. It just doesn't add up.
but this is where and the heading for this thing that we read is and the question that was at the end of it says, is love? Meaning the age is the age, but is it that love brought them together? Is it that irrespective of the age gap, why the love that they have for one another is enough to propel them to a
The
life together?
reason for it to be questioned, I believe that love can conquer anything. I'm
Yes.
not downplaying anybody's love,
Yes.
but as a mom of an 18-year-old daughter myself, I believe that when a child is 18,
She's not
they
a
don't
child at 18.
autom listen. The age said they're not a child, but the development
But they're
of
not
the
a child, you
mind,
can't say they're a child at 18.
the reality of the situation, apart from that number that is
Yeah.
being placed on the paper, is that the development of that child
Yeah.
is not enough to make such a profound decision.
You
You
can't call her a
understand?
child.
The development, honestly,
You
I
can't call
mean,
her a child.
well, we need to revisit these things that are being put on paper
Well, the
because,
law is the law. You can't call her a
well, the
child.
development of this in between age,
Individual.
this in between age of such an individual, young individual. You understand? You have to think of some level. When look, my daughter, she's very aware, she's intelligent, she's capable, yes. But when it comes to relationship, especially when she have been sheltered once in the church and weren't fooling around and weren't doing what you weren't supposed to be doing, not saying that these two individuals were doing such a thing, but I'm coming from the pureness of an 18-year-old that grows up in the church that is not exposed to certain things of the world, even sexually that has to do with a relationship. You need they need
Yeah,
guidance
but
from
if
an
she's married to a man and says, "You have experience in can guide her."
right now for me, the age of an adult is 21 years old, and even then some of them need
Yeah,
guidance.
but
21
if
years
she's
old.
married to somebody at that age, my hope guidance can guide her.
Do you think so? For him
Yes.
to make a decision to marry that
No,
18 year
no.
old,
I'm
it makes me
saying,
want to think if he needs guidance too.
well, I mean, I think emotionally you're embroiled because you say you're too old to do that. But we're saying if the legal age and if we are living in a society or abiding by the law, legal age is 18. If she make a decision like to marry to be with him, and at 63, he has a whole host of experience
All
for,
right.
for nurture and guide. The issue I have, and I know I'm not
No,
really
yeah,
know
I
your point.
understand. No,
The
you're not.
issue
I
I
understand.
have is the fact that what was his mindset for the 4 years?
You know what?
And as a man of God, how could you have, what is it that you could have do to keep your mind so pure about marrying her and not think about otherwise? And if you reach a point where you started thinking otherwise about her, that means, say, boy, something was wrong
That is
with your
why it
thinking.
boils down to motive.
Yeah.
That is why it boils down to motive. And if that this individual was my minister, I would want to know, sir, what is your motive? What is your true motive to want to take on such a young person who haven't started life as yet? In it our experience the things that she should have experienced in order to take on to her a husband, especially to such an experienced age
Did you know that
of an individual? What is your
Mary
motive?
was a child when she was with?
But Joseph did young too.
No,
And
Joseph
even
was a big
beautiful
man.
point,
Joseph was a big man
beautiful point. Can I address it? Nevertheless, yes, Joseph
because it's
was,
the Eastern time we're talking about.
nevertheless, but didn't according to the Bible, didn't the Lord have to send an angel also to minister to Joseph to the tender when you understand to give him peace of mind within the situation?
The peace of mind was that this young lady was pregnant already.
But they
And
were
Joseph knows,
courting.
and Joseph knows, and him pregnant her. So the angel came not to say to him marry her. The angel
But
came
to give
to
him
sit
peace of mind.
because
So with
this
that
child
point,
is.
with that point,
Hold on,
nothing is wrong with
Before-
wanting a confirmation
hold on,
from the Lord. So as a mother, I would
You see me, I
want.
say, hold on, you know, stop.
I'm so sorry because I'm so cold.
You know, well, let me read some of the comments. That don't forget the point you're making. All right, so Lina says, yes, and related to moral. She said morality is subjective, right? Also, she said she was on his mind for 4 years. Whichever way you put it, that is not cool. It is not. No. That is where I said it's not cool, right? That's just not cool. So Rowan says now he wasn't counting. He wasn't counting. He was working his way in the family. No, that is the part, Ron.
That's the part that would
hit the
deserve a
nail
fair
on
mother.
the head.
That's the part I would. Maybe he was fun. That's motive. No, you guys are saying what I'm saying. What is the motive? And whether or not, if I was a part of that congregation and that individual was my minister, with all due respect, I would want to know, sir. I know it's your business, but what is the motive of want to take on such a young person, to be your wife, especially when you're this so experienced? Because what's the motive? Is it that you think that, okay, the Lord has sent her to you? What the Lord sent her to you to do? You understand? Is it just on a sexual basis? You understand? Is it just on a basic of she's fair to look upon? Is it that she remind you of somebody? What? What is the motive?
And all that would be able to speculate. So Lioness says, he is unlikely to guide her to her own free mind. Now watch this. That is a very solid point. Yes? Because here Lioness is saying that, listen, in his position of mentorship or guidance or whatever, could it be that he literally brainwashed her?
It's possible.
You know,
that's
in
what
other
I
words,
said in the beginning. Is it
but
really love or what? Because it you can brainwash. Is it
yeah.
adoration? Is it that the young lady could very look up to him and adore him as an individual, but she could very well be brainwashed in thinking it is love. And look at this now. When that you see, and when say for instance, nobody know, but that young lady should turn 21 and realize that no, or anything can happen with it. He could very well be very healthy, or his health could turn for the worse. But we know that with age comes certain things, right? And she determined in her mind, that would be when she's 21. That means that's what 3 years later. Yeah. She cannot bear this anymore. This is too much. This is not what I signed up for. This is not what I thought and all of those things. Who can blame that young lady if she decide that here comes tall, dark, and handsome Harry? And as Harry, Harry could very well just get saved. And there is just something about Harry because nobody can tell the heart who to really love or be attracted. You can discipline yourself, yes, and try to, but she's young and tall, dark, and handsome Harry step in the building, got saved and everything. And every time she see Harry now, because she got married at 18, she didn't get to experience anything and make any mistake or whatever. Every time, she see Harry, her heart start to flutter. But here she is with Thomas, up about years old. You understand? And she's feeling trapped.
No,
but it's life though, baby. It's life. Life
but
doesn't
so
stay
in essence,
still
you're
in our
saying
back.
who wrong her if she decide if she leave
Exactly.
the old man and go
Are
to
they
the,
going to
to the
say
younger
she's
guy?
cruel and what
No,
the
but
pastor done for her?
no, but the truth is, if she says she loves him, she's gonna stay with him.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. At 18 years old, at 18 years
You
old,
can't, you don't know to
let
love.
me spin up, please. At
You don't
eight,
know how to love?
at 18-year-old, I remember at 18-year-old, I could have think that I was in love with he, she, or the only anybody. I remember, I put it this way: at 12 years old,
You
when I had
can't
my
speak
crush,
for anybody's
no,
development.
teenager, and life is like you have to experience things to gather
What have you
wisdom too.
experienced?
I mean, I experience.
All
I
right.
had crush. I had didn't I
But
have
you don't
crush?
know if the
And
little
I
girl have
thought that,
crush.
oh my god,
Anyway,
if you no, I'm speaking here,
you're not
right? I
telling.
have crush, and I believe that, and those was crushes, and I thought that maybe I was in love. I thought that I was in love. But as I grow older, you understand, and in the church, and I get to know you, that as I say to you, and you know this, what I thought was love then was really infatuation. Because what I experience with you, that is what I deem to be love. When it reaches to the point now you experience certain things and you know that no matter that's whatever, but you know your heart betray, you know you have to make decisions of it. This is this and that. You know how to do those things because what? You have experienced certain little fiddles and what have you before. Now, this young lady, she grew up in the church. What time did and my comes from 14? What age did she get to feel like a butterflies genuinely for somebody and have a little just be a teenager for a while. Now when you go marry somebody who is 63 and you're 18, you have to automatically grow up. You can't bother with and plus he's a minister. Where she's gonna get time to find herself, to know who she really is.
Who says you won't allow her to?
Do you know who you really are at 18? The devil is a liar.
No, but who said, Michelle?
At the end of
Who
the day,
says he would not allow her to? In
you
other
won't
words,
allow her to?
in the sense that he won't crowd her around and make you feel
Really?
like she locked in.
So why the two previous marriages never work?
Not Michelle. Michelle.
I'm not blaming
We're
him.
not
No,
going
but we
through
have
all
to
of
look
that.
on all of that.
Time will
Right.
not permit us to go through every
That
single
is true. That
scenario.
is true.
Anyway, so Lioness says again, the only relationship he should have had in the only relationship he should have had is mine on with her was to offer guidance and and as a minister and also to and also as an elder. Okay. I really feel for the mother. Imagine you trust in your minister as is to be expected, yet 4 years later,
Your
he
child
take
is
away
walking
your
down
baby
the aisle.
before she ready.
Man,
Well,
that makes Christian lose faith.
so that is the other point. That is no the battery last. So that is the other point. That is the other point you're making. The fact that the mother now hearing this, it will break her heart. No, I'm guarantee you, she's not and no longer a member of that church. Because I guarantee if he went to her mother, and said it to her prior to the time of his intention, the mother would have probably tell him unequivocally no.
Yeah.
You understand me?
And maybe
And quite frankly for me too, I don't think this should have been allowed.
yeah.
In the sense that 63 years old, you would have known and been there, the whole mess that the divorce probably had and the child, everything, whatever. It would look now manipulating
Yeah.
and deliberately deceitful.
Trust is broken too.
You understand me? So the only thing about it is that boy, I abide by the law. So she's 18 years old. And boy, I pray to God that this story don't out in a worse way. That's the most I can say.
Honestly,
Because it
this
is what it is.
why I believe that people should build a relationship with the Lord and don't lean too much on ministers. Not to put down any minister out there, but sometimes there's some person who put too much trust in people who call themselves ministers of the gospel. And we don't examine people's motive. And this is a warning for all the persons who sometimes they entrust their children, their young children too much to some persons who said they're ministers of the gospel.
Yeah,
And honestly, you need to know God for yourself. and know what you're doing. There's some persons, because people say around a podium and they say the right things and they read the Bible and they talk from the Bible and so forth. People just entrust too much to them without watching the fruits. The Bible said, by their fruits you shall know them. And you have to observe and know the scriptures for yourself so you know what you're looking for. Not because somebody's pumping the scriptures and dress up in suits and around the podium. And at disclaimer, I don't know these individuals. It's just a clip, from social media. I know them, I know nothing of them, but I'm coming from the experience of hearing too many doomsday stories that comes in the media, that comes on the news about these things that happen in some churches and with pastors and all of these things. People need to know that the first thing you must do, study the word of God for yourself. And even when you go to assemblies to worship and so forth, you use the scriptures to be your guide. Use the same scriptures to be your guide and have a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ for yourself. So you don't get caught up in certain things and your family don't get thrown into certain things that end up destroying your life and destroying your family life.
All right.
You
So
know?
we wish them all the best. Okay, we're gonna about it. Rowan says, in this case, I hold a member of the church well, I guess he said responsible because this is when they should step in, step them and tell the pastor this is wrong. So everyone is saying that the members of the church should also. But I was just we don't know the full
Story. We
story
don't
and
know if that was done.
what happened after that, what materialized after that. Because the truth of the matter is that it really is going to spread a bad light on the ministry on the church, and I would well I'd love to hear the full story because this doesn't look it doesn't all that to me. Although Mr. Morality is subjective, but it just sets so well with me. But again, she's an adult. Let me say what to do.
Well, my 18-year-old is not an adult. She's a young, stepping into adulthood with guidance.
Do you know that there's nothing you can do to stop her at this age if she chooses to do whatever she wants to do?
That's why I'm thank God I'm a praying for to grow her right.
No, I'm just saying that in all of these discussion, the mindset after they still
That is
cognizant
true. That
of
is
what the
true.
law of the land says, because there's nothing you can do legally to stop at 18 years from what she wants to do because she's 18. I'll just say, we
But
hope it
that,
don't turn
and
out to
that
be
is
a sad
why
story.
I said earlier on, you understand? That's why you have to be wise as a one, harmless as a dove and wise as a serpent. At the end of the day, I put my trust in the Lord God Almighty. Of course, I respect my minister and ministers. However, I put my trust solely and wholly in the Lord Jesus Christ according to his word.
And you say this because
and I
you
say
you,
this
don't, you will
to
not
say
be.
that I will not. There's so too much persons who put too much trust in man
You should have
instead
said
of
that
God.
already.
Yes, but what I'm trying to say is that from the get-go, you're supposed to guard your children, protect your children from everybody, every single body. You guide them and protect them again. May I repeat myself from every single body, even from yourself if you have to. That's my point.
Right, so Rowan says, come on, cuz, preach. What? And the same one that you put your trust in and lean on them leave the right.
The battery. Jay,
Leave the right to her. I mean, not gonna lock up.
you need to plug in so your
Yeah.
battery is running
All right, so
Yeah, because basically, whether we want to realize it or not, the Bible said the flesh lusteth after the spirit, and the spirit after the flesh. You understand? And in spite of the fact of some persons know the right and they teach is the right, there are some times when people allow their own selfish needs and their own selfish ways to get the best of them. You understand? Look at Judas. Judas was walking with the Lord. He was walking with Jesus Christ, but he was the same one who betrayed Christ. You understand? And not to put down even Peter. Peter, when the Lord told Peter, when Peter told the Lord that, today the clock will not go twice before you deny me. The clock will not go before you deny me twice. And Peter said, no, Lord, not me. But what? When they approach Peter and say, "You were one of them. You were one of them who were walking with that man Jesus." And Peter said, "No, I don't know him." And the cat go crack, and of course he went to another corner and somebody said, "Weren't you one of them who was walking with that Jesus?" And Peter said, "No." And when he denied Jesus 3 times and he remembered what the Lord said to him, he went and wept. Was it that Peter was a wicked man? No, but it's the flesh. You understand? He was maybe fearful, didn't want to be identified, whatever. But the fact still remained that he was one of God's disciple, Christ's
All
disciple.
right.
You understand? So let us not put our trust too much in men.
All right. So Michelle has preached the word. We can going to close the line.
Oh, stop it.
I mean, in a sense, follow me as I follow
Follow.
Christ. So it's just something to look on and to be careful.
Yeah.
And as Michelle said, keep your children under your wings. But as again, I'm just stating facts. If the law says they are 18, you are only the best you can do is hope that whatever you have taught them is sufficient enough to help them make the right decision and to consider all things. The only thing I'm pointing to is did 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 she speak to either her mother or father and said, "Dad, she said she love him. Dad, I'm in love with Pastor so and so, and whatever, whatever." And did they unequivocally, though they were divorced, did they both unequivocally say to her, "No, no, we're not in agreement. Again, we don't
Maybe
know,
they couldn't say
we
no.
don't know the full story. No, no, they're not saying when they couldn't say
Or the
no. In
reason
the
why
sense
I
that
say that maybe they could say nothing. Maybe they entrust their own daughter too much to this
no, no, but
individual
the
to
mother
the
never
point that
got.
they could not rebut
No man, no
nothing.
man. The mother did not go to the wedding. So
Yeah, but that doesn't say
it's
the
evident
whole
that she was not in agreement.
of what stage, at what stage. Follow me.
No, but Michelle,
No,
we don't want
Colonel,
to go
listen,
deeper
it's
than.
not a deeper, but we cannot talk. All right, in that, there's some aspect that you can look into in a conscious
No,
way.
but
All
evidently
right,
the fact that she
please.
not go at the wedding is from the
Yes,
get go.
Cornell.
Whenever she
All
heard,
right.
she evidently
So,
never agreed to
so
it, none at
I
all.
have my minister, I have my children in church, and me and my husband, God forbid, are going through some difficulties. And I take my child and put in the hands of the minister to counsel that child. How much? The truth is, when when
She never
somebody
gave the minister a child. He was dealing with them as a family going through divorce.
who
So
gave the consent,
evidently,
baby, that's what I'm saying.
nobody would not be consenting to the.
You have to give
Well,
consent
I
for your
know, and
minister
that's
to
what
come.
I'm
You don't
saying.
know
It
at the
would not be an
hour.
individual consent to chill out, counsel the family, and just
But you do,
the
all right.
divorcees.
How effective can it be to come to everybody together? Well, it must have been, if you're in church, in order for certain things to be done with effectively, they have to be one-on-one counseling
Yeah,
session.
but it would not be
Okay, then.
forever.
Couldn't
And
it listen, okay
yeah,
now,
man,
whether
listen.
4 years or forever? It has to be that at some point, this mother, the child is 14, she's underage, her mother have to give the approval to say, okay, Pastor so and so is going to come. Maybe every Tuesday, maybe whenever, maybe after church, whatever. They must have had alone time. You have to understand that over time these things build. Did the child just out of the blue decide that she want marry
But
pastor? There have to
Michelle,
be.
but what I'm saying is this: whether 1 year before they married or 2 years before they married, the mother was not in agreement at all. So
Yes,
you
but
cannot.
before come the marriage, they were a 4-8 period, right? So
Mhm.
I'm trying to say those parents must have to give the consent for the pastor to have some level
Yeah, but
of thing
yeah,
their
must have a
interaction
counsel
with
them.
them. But
Yeah.
it happened, it must have happened during that
But
time.
what I'm saying, she still not agree with
And
the
that's
marriage.
fine.
She never
But
go.
what I'm trying to get at it is, when we don't know the situation of how much she gave the right to the minister
No,
and what
no.
leverage he had
Remember,
to
you're saying
reach.
no. You're saying that how much she probably giving the right to marry to her. I'm not
No,
saying
I
that.
didn't say that.
No, you're
The
saying they probably
right to
never, she
have
never have a choice.
contact.
You're saying she probably never have a
Probably
choice.
the child did not have a child in the situation. For a child to get to know a minister one on one, there have to be a level of time spent, whether it's in counseling or whatever. There have to be a level of time spent. A normal child don't just get up and say, "I'm in love with my minister." It doesn't happen like that. There have to be interaction. Now, before she was 18, she was a child for that 4 years. So you want to tell me that there were so many, maybe there were so many trust by the mother and minister that they just say, "Man, you have counseling pastor and they have time one on one together." But the doom must be that she was following up what was happening in the counseling or what time and those level of thing. But there have to be some level of
So what you're
one on one
saying
for
then,
the interest to build and to grow because no for a teenager of that age, I want to think that there's a level of intelligence. They don't just, you understand, say yes to everything. And for her to say she have mutual feeling, time must have been spent.
yeah, but Michelle, the point I was making is this: the fact that he came and made it, and
For her even to
them
get
reach
brainwashed.
marriage. I'm saying I'm the thought what I the point I was making is this: did they at him or she at any point say to the mother or the father, we have interest? And based on the fact that the mother did not go to the funeral, to the wedding, it is clear that the mother was
She
not
don't agree. But
in
I'm not saying that the
agreement. So
mother
that's
don't
what
have any
I'm
choice,
saying.
I'm saying the child. Because when you have left up your child in the presence or with somebody, you have entrust your child to that person. So I'm saying the child goodly don't have
I,
any say in the situation because when she was there being considered, she could very well be brainwashed and don't know and think that, oh, I'm in love with my
yeah,
this
but
minister.
again,
But it must
speculation.
have it have to start from
But
somewhere.
it's still speculation.
But the speculation on the goes correctly with what is being written there, man. You know,
Still speculation.
you must have
I,
give your child somewhat that freedom to believe in this other individual, unless you weren't mothering your child. And for a mother to strongly disagree with something like that,
so Linus is agreeing with you. She's saying, okay, the mother open up the access, and
exactly that's
but
what
we
I'm
are,
saying. You give
and that's
access
not,
to your
and I'm
child.
not denying that because the pastor was counseling the family. So yes, there'll be one-to-one counseling with the father, then with the mother, then with the child. If he's the only child, based on what the story is saying, so that's the only child. But over time, when the child reaches a certain age and the child is going to make a decision, they would have still respectfully, I'm thinking the past would still go to the mother and say
Yeah, but
so
that
and
is up for
so.
the
But
husband to the
based
gate.
on the reaction of the mother, we don't hear nothing about the father. Based on the reaction of the mother, she was not in agreement with it any at all.
Exactly. All
So
right.
the
Say
point,
parent.
Michelle, so the point I am making is this: at 18 years old, she still has the right or the power to make a choice.
It have
And the
already gone to
most
the gate if she is brainwashed. It's already gone because access was given to her. Access, whether the mother was thinking it was pure and dandy and whatever you, access was given to her. And while you may think I'm preaching, that is why it is still substantial and still stand today. Be careful who you give access to your children. That's what I'm saying. Be careful who you give total access to your children. And I believe that whosoever you invite in your child's life, for whatever reason, you should be there. Even if you're not in the presence when certain things are being administered, you should be like Inspector Gadget, or put a Inspector Gadget and be an inspector. What was this about? How was it? What took place? What have you? And then you may very well hear things that you realize that this doesn't sound right. That not what have you? And you can step in and act before it's too late. These are your precious children. You understand? Nothing happen overnight. It doesn't matter what it is, nothing happen overnight. When you give access, make sure you have control over it. That's what I'm saying.
amen. All right, guys. Again, this is just one of the topics that we looked at because, in irrespective of age, and when people say they're in love and whatever, there's still things that need to be considered. Um, for example, and we're not going close, Charlotte, but things need to be considered. For example, all right, at 18, and he is what, 63, and if you're
63.
minus 80 from 63, you know, so over per years that.
Mhm.
Um, so that again is something to be thought about before you're making a move. Notwithstanding, as Ron was pointing out, the boy, he's 13 and I only this is 19.
About 35 years,
The
I
truth of the
think.
matter is that at 39 versus 18 versus 19, that's 20 years gap. It again that is subject to where your mind is and what and the maturity level of the person that you're talking to. I still believe that age is a number, but I think that there becomes like we have some things that are low risk and some things that are high risk. That age gap to me is a super high risk. That if you just high risk is super high risk. You understand me? But the question is, does love dictate or stops you from loving who you want to love? Does love overpowers your conscious thinking? It's okay, I'm in love with this person for whatever reason, and love is love, and I'm going to do what I feel love is. The only thing about that is that sometimes people say they love, and then situation arise, you wonder where the love turned. You understand me? And that speaks to a level of
Yeah, it's a
maturity and a
level of
level of
maturity.
even a level of education, because you need to understand what you're going into, and before
Yeah,
you go into it, look at all the possibilities. Yeah, something you won't know until you get into it. Somebody
exactly.
say, see me and live with me are two different something. But at the same time, you can look at some key points, some key areas to make a decision. You understand me? So that's where it's at.
Yeah, and we talk about love, but love is good and love is relevant. But not because you figure say you love. You have to think about the repercussions of it, so you're gonna jump into it. You have to make a conscious decision. It's not everything that we love is good for us.
Yeah.
You understand? And some of the things that we're calling love is just our selfish desires and maybe lust. That one, you're just lusting after the thing, and because you're lust so hard, you tell yourself that it's love. But is it really?
So another topic. There's one I want to look at, but not tonight because time has passed. We want to look at how long should an engagement be. And the reason I bring up this, there's another pastor who we know who, for years, he was not, he was, I don't know if he's courting or whatever he was doing, and has finally decided to get married. But that is for another night. We have gone long. And
Yes, lioness.
we want to say thanks to everybody who came on and everybody who participated. Let me read your comments before we leave. Um, well, we read Linus's
True
too.
that lioness.
Ron
One of
says,
the
and maybe that's why the mother is mad because she gave him so much access
access.
to her.
Yeah. And she
Right,
maybe think it was a good thing. We just blow up in our face.
right. So again, Ron, very solid point as Michelle
Yeah.
was making too. All right. So again, guys, we want to thank you for coming on. Want to thank you for your contribution, Rowan Lioness, the two vocal on the live. Those who came on and did not indicate who you are, next time indicate, man. We can give you a shout out, and of course, you also can share your comments on the topic. All right. So, Lioness, good to have you, and remember, you need to send us some pictures and so we can put a face to the name too. Yes. So DM us and we can put a face to the name. And
Love you too,
love you,
lioness. Love you
love you
too.
too, Linus. And of course, greet your husband to be for us. And tell him we say congrats on that. Rowan, blessings.
Yeah, blessing
Um,
cause there's another
Safrita,
individual. Yes. Let's have it,
good
Mr.
to have you
Freda.
again. We're missing a lot of our
Yeah, Carly. Maybe they're busy with that
relevant
church opening.
regular members. But until then, we'll book up again. All right. God bless
God
and
bless.
see you on the other side.